It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The Garden in the Woods, as you may well know, is the home of the New England Wildflower Society, which is the oldest organization devoted to plant preservation in North America. Our collection, if you will, consists of about 1,500 species. And of the 1,500 species, about half are native to New England and about 45% are native to other areas of North America. So altogether, 95% of what you see here is native to North America. The society property here consists of 45 acres, and of the 45 acres, 15 are actually cultivated. The other 30 are left wild. Well, let's start our walk here and we'll go up this path. This tree, if you look carefully, is the striped maple. You'll see the striping in the bark and you'll see the maple-like leaf here. The striped maple is actually a common understory tree in the White Mountains. You do any hiking?
I do.
Well, I've hiked for years, and it really is a wonderful example of how all vision is prepared. I hiked for years in the White Mountains and never noticed the striped bark on the trunk. You know, plant names are often very interesting and tell you something about them, and they're sort of fun. This one has a common name of fairy candles.
Yeah.
And its botanic name used to be semiretired, but the darn scientists keep changing names on us, and we now classify this as an actea. But most people still know it as semiretired. And I'm sure you've taken the Latin requirement for this tour. I think it's a minimum of 3 years.
Yeah.
So you know that semi means bug, and fugare means to flee. So it makes the bugs flee because there's an aromatic quality to the leaves. Okay. This is a great plant. This, we're seeing it, of course, in the berry form, and it's called Bain Berry, or doll's eyes. The fruit are white, similar to the porcelain spheres that are put into doll's eyes, and its common name is a Bain Berry. Now I'm going to put your Latin to the test. Yeah, Bana in Latin means murderer. It's an appropriate name for this plant because it's a poisonous plant. You don't want to eat these berries. Birds will not touch them. Some very happy irises. The irises can become so happy that they are considered invasive. And that actually brings us to an interesting question, which is, what is an invasive? And I think, I'm certainly no expert, but when we talk about invasives, we're really talking about a plant that is inappropriately vigorous for its site. So that invasives are actually defined regionally. We have plants which we treasure and which are well behaved in our area. The very same plant in another part of the country could be considered invasive. People are amazed. They say, wait a minute, what did you do bringing in these garden phlox? Well, before you got your local nursery garden phlox, there was wild phlox. This is Phlox Paniculata, which is a summer blooming phlox. There are many varieties of phlox. My goodness, we've got, look at this. Thank you for helping me look up. Do you look, we've got a member of the lily family. It's, I believe it's called the Turk's cap. And people will see that and say, that can't be a wildflower. Wildflowers are boring. That's exciting. That's exotic.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
This is summer sweet Clara, and it does well in a variety of circumstances, including the borders of rivers and ponds. And it also is called Indian soap. If we wet our hands and then we take the leaf, I feel like a magician whose trick isn't going to work. Now you need to, I'm going to wet my hands. Could you hold this for a second? It should produce a, there it is, a foamy white material that allegedly cleanse the hands. Indian soap.
When did you first discover gardening in the woods? How long have you
A
been
long time ago, in the 1970s. I heard about it, drove up here, fell in love with it, found it a magical place. Nothing has changed. It's still a magical place.
When did you start volunteering here?
3 years ago, it was an opportunity to return at frequent intervals to a place I love, to be involved with other people, to increase my knowledge of horticulture, wildflowers. I like many people, I yearn to be a lifelong student. And the training that was offered volunteers here is fabulous.
How is your life different now than when you were in medicine full time?
I have a chance to play at serious things. There's less stress, less time pressure. Medicine, as you might imagine, is demanding. I think to do justice to the role of physician, you really need to respond to the patient's needs. You need to be disciplined. You need to sacrifice personal agendas. And if you don't do that, then you're probably not the kind of physician I would want as my physician.